and gentlemen, turns out I'm muted. Love that for me. How are we, everybody? Welcome back to Competitive Speed Series. It's been a little while since we've had some on-track action, at least involving me. But it has been a good old while since I've been here for Competitive Speed Series. But we are back, and it is time for round number 10, and it is going to be an amazing round of action. We've had 9 amazing rounds up to this point in the season, and with not many left to go, it is really all to play for still, but we are here for round number 10 of this 12-race season. It is the Mystery GP here, and well, who knows where we're going? It is anyone's guess, yours as good as mine, but with 2 races to go after tonight, Hungary and Japan. Here is how it's looking in terms of your championship standings, and it is FIA who lead the way, but closely followed by TF10, then Zenith, then NLR, ET8, TTM, CPI, ABS, Team GeForce and Vizio Racing right at the back at the moment, but you can see there it is very close between FER and TF10 and, well, the 3 teams behind as well. So it is really all to play for here, and, well, it is definitely going to be yet another amazing round. It's so great to have so many of you joining so early and so soon into the broadcast. We are just a couple of moments away from the start of qualifying getting underway here. Well, it is going to be an amazing round here for it's round 10. It's going to be, you know, it's always difficult. We don't know what track it is, and, well, that can certainly spring up some surprises and plenty of drama, but it is certainly going to be springing up plenty of drama tonight. But do want to get your predictions in for that championship, for who takes pole position, and all of that good stuff, so please do get that into the YouTube chat as soon as possible. It would be great to see so many of you getting involved and being part of this, but as I say, only a couple of moments away from qualifying here. It is just me on my lonesome tonight, so I will have to take a few, well, a few breaks for some water, and yeah, and hello Dom. It is interesting to be on the PC side. We are just waiting for the final driver to get into the lobby, and as soon as we have the final driver into the lobby, I will be able to reveal the track in which we'll be competing tonight. And it is going to be, well, no doubt, an amazing race here. TTM 1-2 easy. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, anything's on the cards, absolutely. And yeah, no, it's weird to be here on PC. Not too often that I find myself on this half of the fence, but it is great to be here. It's great to see so many of you getting into that chat. TF10 win. I think Dom, I think that might be partially a little bit biased based on the team you've recently just announced you're signing onto, but all 20 drivers are now into the lobby. And that means that in a couple of seconds I will be able to tell you what track we are racing at. And well, for round number 10 of Season 4 Competitive Speed Series, for PC at least, we are heading to... I'm waiting for it to go into the Discord first. Couple seconds. I thought it'd be sooner. Welcome to Mexico. It is time for Mexico for round number 10 of our season. All 20 drivers into the lobby, and what that means for us is we are only a couple of moments away from qualifying getting underway here, and it is going to be a amazing time. There was talk of it possibly being Portugal, at least that was rumoured in the Discord, of it being Portugal and the pain it would be, and everyone was kind of throwing a little bit of shade in the direction of Ace, saying the pillow's going to be warm if it is Portimao, but it is Mexico for tonight. Great to see about 30 of you already joining us here. We're just about to get into qualifying here for round number 10, and well, it is going to be a real blast around the 2.8 miles that is the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, but we are, as I said, a couple of seconds away from qualifying getting underway. We are getting the all clear to get underway, and wow, it is going to be a great race and a great time, as now we are set to get underway in Mexico just a couple of seconds time. But it is great to see, as I said, so many of you getting involved at this early stage. It is not often I'm here on PC, but it is good to be here nonetheless. So do get your predictions in. What team is going to be looking hot and which team is definitely not? As I said, definitely going to be a good one. Just about 30-40 seconds away or so from the race getting underway. And well, we have certainly got a good race on our hands here. No doubt about that one at all. Somehow I've changed scene. Didn't even know that was a thing. So, yeah, I mean, we're learning new things today. Apparently, pressing my controller changes scenes on ABS. At least it didn't end the stream. I suppose that is something. But qualifying getting underway in a couple of seconds now. We're just loading into the lobby, getting everything sorted. But it is definitely only around the corner now, and well, once we are all underway, we're going to certainly be having a awesome time. So let's just give it a couple of seconds. Because now I just double check. Nearly all readied up in terms of the lobby side, and then qualifying coming your way in just a couple of seconds time. So qualifying now underway here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez here, and well, what a qualifying session it is likely to be. Mexico, such a different circuit to typical, really long straight. The straight line speed and prowess of these cars, so important, but the potential and pace really lies within those tight and twisty corners. I might be a little bit too quiet versus the game audio. Do let me know if there's something I can tweak, make things a little bit better, because it is currently absolutely killing my ears. And, well, if that's reciprocated for you, do let me know, and I will fix that. No worries at all. But it is going to be really interesting to see. But here we are, underway for qualifying here. And it's going to be a good qualifying session, no doubt about that one. So, do let me know what the audio is like for you guys. But first car on the track is TF10, Tias Korsman, who is, currently making his way around on the outlap here. And, well, an important outlap for this circuit as well. Such an important lap around here. And, well, getting it spot on is definitely not easy. So, first driver about to begin a flying hot lap here of the circuit of Mexico. And wow, it is going to be a real blast around here, as now Tias Korsman begins his first flying lap here of the circuit. Can't hear game audio. Lovely. Give me a second. I shall fix that. There you go. Now you'll get game audio. It's probably way too loud, but that's fine, because I can turn it down for you slightly, and I'll just kill myself in the process. Tias Korsman there, here on a flying lap here on Mexico, and well, coming through Sector 1 here to set the fastest first sector, and the only first sector here at this early stage of qualifying. And now we'll head through the double apex right-hander here and towards into Sector 2, and well, Sector 2 is really where a lot of the lap time is made, and yeah, you can really see how they throw the car into this sequence of corners. Real and snaking section of the lap, and it's so important to get it spot on lap after lap. And now you can barely hear me. I will fix that in a second. Don't you worry. Do not worry at all. But Tias Korsman coming around the final couple of ends here to open his first flying lap here And well, is now rounding those final couple corners up to the line for the man for TF10, and does go P1, a 1:13.271. That's the benchmark where everyone is chasing, but can anyone chase it successfully? Well, Tony Delta is absolutely able to, and well, takes himself to the top of the timesheets for FER. First lap time is on the way. Tony Hietala is currently leading the way though. I'm now going to adjust that audio because it turns out I can't sort games out. Hopefully that's going to make it better. Don't think that's really made a difference. Give me 2 seconds. Teething issues when you haven't played on PC for a long while. Teething issues. Lovely, so it should be a little bit better now, but a good start for Tony Hietala here in qualifying as he tops the timing sheets with a 1:13.207. Not a bad lap time for him, but plenty of drivers looking to try and make moves on the order, but an opening lap time here coming from Danico at the moment on a set of medium compound tyres, likely just trying to ease the tyres in and get things a little bit nicer, but thank you very much, Dom, for confirming it's better in the chat. That is useful for me. But got a couple lap times underway here as LQ there goes 13th there. Danico now rounding the final couple of corners on a set of medium compound tyres. Whether he sets his lap time or not, up in the air, but will he set the lap time? We'll see in a couple of moments' time as he rounds the final couple of ends, comes up to the line, does set the lap time, and goes 11th. So not a bad lap time actually there on a set of medium compound tyres. So a good opening lap time there. As you see the Kick Sauber getting all crossed up there for Chivadar there in, well, as they go through the harder Sector 2 and now towards the start of Sector 3. And definitely no awards for pace there, but definitely an award for car control, but not able to control the car through Sector 3, and, well, that rear end does look a little bit loose there as, well, they cut the corner at the final couple of ends. But first lap's underway, and, well, Tony Hietala leading the way, followed by Tias Korsman and Jeremy Galigna there, who is in third place. But good start for championship leaders FER as qualifying is firmly underway here. 12 minutes left on the clock, and, wow, it is going to be a real tale to see if Tony Hietala can keep this pole position that he currently resides in as drivers begin to filter out. The second lap's underway, and coming up next, as I believe it's Bogdan Moldovan here, who is the lead car on an outlap at the moment. Although possibly it might actually be Jensen Rowan, who's about to begin a hot lap here and get his first lap time on the board for NLR. So, barreling down the long main straight here and towards turn number 1. This is actually one of few circuits. It is not beneficial to be in P1 come the end of it, as, well, normally the man in P3 is the man who leads into turn number 1, interestingly enough here, just due to the length of the straight and the slipstream effect here. But a purple Sector 1, according to the game, for Jensen Rowan here as he barrels through now the second sector, through the double apex right-hander, and, well, towards Sector number 3 already as we now head through the snaking S section here. And, well, such a difficult section to get spots on, especially in the race. A small little mistake can get you a warning very easily around this track, and, well, 3 of those, you've got yourself a penalty. But a purple Sector 2 for Jensen Rowan as now we go through Sector number 3, and this could be a mighty lap time from the NLR man, who could be taking himself up quite high up the order, as now round the final couple of bends here and up towards the line here for Jensen Rowan. Only manages 8th place there, so a third sector that really did let the man down, but not bad at all there for Jensen Rowan, who has done a really decent lap here. So now Bogdan Moldovan, who is on a lap time at the moment. Not sure if he's improving on his lap time, but he is one of a few drivers on a hot lap at the moment. Not improving by huge amounts here, so we'll have a look at the man maybe behind him, who I believe that's Aleski Kovaro, who's invalidated actually there, so not getting a good lap time for him. But Tias Korsman, I believe, is coming around the final couple of bends. He's not improving at all. But what about Jeremy Galigna, who is at the moment in third place and could certainly be taking himself further up the order. And wow, as now he rounds the final couple of bends, he will come up to the line. Where can he take himself? He will take himself to the top of the timesheets with a 1:13.137. So with 9 minutes left on the clock. A change for P1 as things stand, but Tony Huetler is just beginning his flying lap as well, as now he tries to take provisional pole position away from the now man in front of him, and well, heads through sector 2 himself. As Tristan de Herbecourt there goes up into 4th place. So, good to see a good chunk of you in the live stream at the moment, but we've got a long way to go here in qualifying as we are just getting underway, as Tony Huetler is now coming through sector 3 here. And well, he could be certainly one man to keep your eye on, absolutely, but he has not set a good enough improvement here as he comes into the pit lane. But Thomas Supsa does seem to be having a good lap here and does seem to be making an improvement there in sector 1, about a 10th improvement there for the CPI man, and this is a good lap time to see where he could take himself in this qualifying session, as his teammate Isaac Lee has retired from the session, so a qualifying ban must be being served down there in the CPI camp, but a 10.5 up for Tomas Buta as he comes around the final couple of corners. It's nothing that's going to take him to the top of the timesheets at the moment. He'd need a mighty sector 3 to get there, but this could certainly take him up to about 3rd, 4th, so it could be an improvement, and he goes 4th there, so a good improvement there from Tomas Buta, who gets himself up, and with nearly a 2/10 improvement. But 2/10, although it sounds like a lot, certainly did not gain him as much as he may have hoped there. So he will have to wait, hopefully, for better things to come as Daniko moves up a place there, goes into 12th place as Chivoda isn't improving. In fact, no one is improving at the moment, but Tias Korsman is on an out lap and about to begin yet another flying hot lap, as does Bogdan Moldovan there, I believe, who's all the way down in 15th place. But Tias Korsman only needs to find about just over a 10th of a second to take himself up to the top of the timing sheets. And, well, it would be great to see the man take all the way up to the top of the... So, Tias Korsman making his way through Sector 1 and into Sector 2 now. And now making his way into what is Sector 2. And through this S section, it is, well, very tricky to get right lap after lap after lap. But it is going to be interesting to see what he can do as he goes through the Sector 2 timing stream. He is improving marginally, not quite enough, though, to really make headway. But as he rounds through Sector 3, it is going to hopefully maybe try and gain a place if he can. But Sector 3, he does go to the top of the timesheet. That was a lot of time in the final sector as he gains over 2/10 of a second to take himself to the very top of the timesheet, and that is quite something from the man who now resides in that P1 spot, as Dennis Langrock goes up to 3rd for TTM. Really a lot of good lap times here coming in as Aleski Kovaro moves himself up a place and into 6th place, and Tony Roche, I believe, has might have just finished a lap to take himself up to 8th place. Not too sure if he's just finished or just gone on to, but he does seem to be pushing on into turn number 1, so this could be the start of a hot lap for Tony Roche for TF10 as he goes through sector number 1 here. And nicely handled by the man, Tony Roche. He is improving, so currently 9th, could be onto a good lap time here as he improved by a 10th of a second in the first sector at the moment. That could see him, if he's to replicate that through all 3 sectors, up to about 7th or so. But a rear end snap there off the exit of the double right-hander. Not ideal for Tony Roche, as now he runs his way through sector number 2 at the absolute speed of a bullet here. And now taking himself towards that sector 2 timing line, and it is still improving by nearly a quarter of a second here for Tony Roche, as now we round the final couple of corners and through the stadium section here with the TF10 man. Currently resides in 10th place, but could be about to take himself up into a whole new realm of possibilities here as he falls to 11th briefly, but will take himself up to 9th. So not quite the mighty Sector 3 that his teammate had, but a good improvement there from him as Tony Hietala takes himself with a 1:13 flat. A 1:13 flat. We are nearly into the 1:12s here in Mexico, and what a amazing lap time from Tony Hietala to take himself all the way up towards the top of the timing sheets here. But a lot of drivers all on just finishing laps. So your order with just under 4 minutes to go is Tony Hietala in P1 for FVR, then Tiaz Korsman in 2nd, then Jeremy Galania, and then Dennis Langrock, Tim Tanemo, Thomas Booster, Alex Corvée, Mr. Pike, Tony Roche, Tristan de Herbecourt, Guti Ballant, and then LQ there in 12th, followed by Jensen Rosen, who at one point was proper up towards the top of the timing sheets, but it has not worked out too well for him as we have progressed through this qualifying session. Danico begins a lap here for ET8. I believe he's the only driver on a hot lap at the moment, putting himself off sync with everybody else, which could work to his benefit or his detriment, providing what happens in the final couple of moments in this qualifying session as he makes his way through sector number 1. And I can thankfully say, for the sake of my voice, that there will be another commentator in the commentary box for the race, which is great for me because my voice is absolutely going to kill come the end of it. So it's going to be great to have another man in the commentary box to be alongside me for the race. Thank you, Dom, for stepping in. But Danico moving his way up towards the final sector, not improving by huge margins. ET8 not looking too great here. It is great to see what's going on here as now we round the final couple of ends with Danico as the drivers begin to peel out, and Danico doesn't set that lap time. Not worth setting that lap time. Small margins, and we are into those final 2 minutes now, and Dennis Langrock, your first driver out of the pit lane and towards the start-finish line, he will head on his outlap, and he'll be the first driver to finish that hot lap, and it could certainly be a massive, massive achievement if we get a driver into the 1:12s here. Tony Hietala really on the bubble at the moment, but anyone can do it. The grid is looking incredibly, incredibly close, and it is amazing to see. So we have got just a minute and a half left on the clock, and as Dennis Langrock comes around the final couple of ends here, he will have just moments to spare, and now he will begin his final flying hot lap here in qualifying. That rear wing will open in a couple of seconds time, and he will begin his very, very final run here around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez as we head toward turn number 1 with the TTM man, who you see pull all the way to the left-hand corner, to the left-hand side, to try and minimise and carry as much speed through there. Cut the corner as much as you dare, run as wide on the exit as you can, and rear wing straight open as soon as you head onto this second DRS straight. Only 3 DRS straights here, sorry. And those two come at you thick and fast. Now through sector 2, the double apex right-hander there, as you see Joris move out of the way, and that was in the background, the Alpine moving out of the way for Dennis Langrock, who now heads his way through sector 2. The rear end looks a little bit slidey there as we head through the start of this sector 2, but it's looking very nice here at the moment for Dennis Langrock as we head down now the third DRS straight of the lap, improving by about a half a tenth here, which is a decent margin here, and with a good third sector, it could be a real achievement and take him nicely onto the front row. So Dennis Langrock round the final bend now and up towards the line for TTM. What can he muster? His teammates in 11th. Where can he go? He can't improve at all. He only stays in 4th place, but there's a lot of drivers on laps at the moment, and Tiaz Korsman is one of them. He could be taking himself into the 1:12s. There's a yellow flag there for TTM Guti Baliant there. But Tiaz Korsman round the final bend now, and, well, he will get himself up onto P1. He absolutely will, into the 1:12s. What can Tony Hitler do as he rounds the final bend? Can he take it back? He absolutely can, into the 1:12.8. What a lap time as Jeremy cannot improve. What about Dennis Langrock? He's finished his lap. Can Tim Tenemo make an improvement and gain himself a couple places here? Well, he's invalidated around the final couple of ends. So qualifying pretty much done and dusted here. And, well, Tony Hitler has absolutely blitzed the field right at the end into the 1:12.8. What a lap time. Really, 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 wow, what a lap time. And that is some really, really crucial points there for pole position being handed out. And, wow, could make all the difference come the end of the season with the championship so close. So a good result for Tony Hitler, who is now your pole position man for the race today. And Danico rounding out the, wow, all of our top 14. But it is all to play for going into the race here. We've got a real good race on our hand. Do not go anywhere. I'm going to take a couple of moments just to sort out some bits on the broadcast side so we can get our co-commentators in. I will be back in just a moment's time, but I just need to take a couple of moments just so I can get our co-commentator in. Domsey will be alongside me after this short intermission. Well, welcome back and thank you for being patient whilst I just quickly sorted a couple bits out. You can see alongside me, it's not just me on my little lonesome anymore. It is the lovely Domsy. It's the PS pairing for PC today, as Frost unfortunately was not able to be here tonight. But we got a real good race on our hand and coming underway in a couple of moments' time. It really is Mexico. Such a beautiful track. Love its absolute bits. It is really such a beautiful example for a racetrack. So we are only a couple of minutes away from that. Just keeping an eye on what's being said in the Discord in terms of, you know, everything going on, and it does seem like everything is pretty much ready actually by the seams of it. Everyone is getting underway very quickly, so it doesn't seem like we're going to be waiting all too long for everything to be ready to go. So, Dom, you watched qualifying, you have a bit of an idea as to how things went. Give me your synopsis of that from someone who's watching from the sidelines. How was it?
Yeah, very, very good performance, of course. TF10 and FVR being close in the front two positions. Tony Kessler getting pole position, I watched as well. And who was it? TS Korsman, who got second place. So, yeah, very, very close qualifying session as well. I think it was only the front two that got into the 12th time, not mistaken. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I mean, it was a really good result.
But
Great to see FER really up there as well. Championship leaders as things are. And, well, they are doing a brilliant job right at the top of the timesheet. And, well, certainly making a good impression here with Tony Hitler P1 and his teammate P4. And as you said, good result for TF10, Tias Korsman second. And, well, P9 for Tony Roche. Are you cheering on TF10, even though you kind of got to be a little bit unbiased?
yeah, of course, I'll be cheering them on. Recently joined them as engineers, so I'm not engineering them tonight. That is going to two other engineers tonight, but very excited to see what they can do. Yeah, also ZNT done pretty well. Just looking at the how it went on my phone. NLR also up there with Tim Tornimo and Sick. TGF as well done pretty well in 8th place with Mr. Pike, which I believe was his debut tonight. But yeah, so far looks to be a very exciting race. Of course, it's a mystery race, so these teams won't have had the opportunity to practice like they would have for previous events. So quite impressive to see lap times like A12, 8 like Tony Hietala did set in the qualifying session. So yeah, very excited for this race, and I hope you are too, Byron.
Absolutely, I am absolutely buzzing for it. Mystery rounds cannot spring any more surprises. We are just a couple of moments' time from getting everything underway and set up here in Mexico. So let's have a little look at the race we are heading to tonight. It is round 10 of season 4, and it is well, it is a phenomenal circuit. It is, well, the lovely Mexico City GP as it used to be known, but it is now just known as the Mexico GP. And what a track it is really amazing. Thank you as always to Gridfinder and Sim Racing Centre for working with us. But here is the track we're racing at tonight. It is the Mexico City Circuit, and, well, it is 3 sectors and 2.7 miles of absolute fun, adrenaline, and speed. You hit the highest top speeds here in the entire calendar along that main straight. It is so high, the altitude, it really struggles for engine power and performance, but the low downforce and drag setups will really make things a bit of a saucy treat here tonight as well. We get things very much nearly underway here, and we are just, as I said, a couple of moments away from getting things underway. So it is going to be a good time here. 3 DRS zones and 17 corners, and, well, it is certainly a real race to remember in F1 terms, and it's going to be a race to remember tonight. Do not go anywhere. I know sprint qualifying for F1 is not far away, but we have a race on our hands to get underway first. And, well, it does seem like we are take you trackside now for the Mexico GP. So here we are then.
Yeah.
It is time pretty much for us to get underway here for round 10. A different championship for me and Dom. We don't cast here normally, but it is the same amazing racing. Final thoughts going into the race?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really focus on the PC side as much as I do on the PS side, of course. As you have said multiple times before on the stream, that we are just subbing in for PC. So, but of course, I will be rooting for TF10. Of course, try not to be biased in the commentary booth, but FVR also look really good on the PC side of things, and so do some of the top console teams who also look to be really good on PC. But I am expecting not to be biased, but TF10 to possibly try and push for the win. But of course, we have seen Tony Hietala's pace in qualifying, so he might be up there as well.
Indeed, it is going to be interesting to see what FVR are able to do with, one man P1, one man P4. It is a good qualifying for them, but it is really anyone's game here going into the race. People are just putting their setups on and getting everything ready before we get racing here in Mexico. Do get your predictions into the YouTube chat for who you think is going to take the win here today. If you get it right before the stream starts, I've heard you get a pat on the back. So do get your predictions in. It would be lovely to hear from as many of you as possible. But, as I said, moments away here. We are just getting the final couple of drivers all sorted and ready. But we are very much ready to go here. And we are ready to go. 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Mexico. And it is lights out and away we go for round number 10 of season 4 here in PC, and it is a good start for your pole sitter Tony Hietala, but expect him to lose places here as you see the drivers behind all tuck into that slipstream and that benefit of DRS now as we head down the straight here on lap 1 of 36. And well, it is not looking too bad at all as it is a little bit choppy and should calm itself down in a couple of seconds. That is just the game being the game, but we are getting through lap number 1 nicely here on for a good round here. And well, Tias Korsman not doing a bad job at all here as we get the opening lap of action underway here to apply some pressure as you'll notice Tomas Sputa has lost a lot of pace and time to the man behind, to the man in front, sorry, of Tias Korsman. But opening lap nicely underway here. A bit of contact there for a couple of drivers, but nothing too major there as Dennis Langrock and Aleski Covery there, battle there for 6th and 7th respectively. But opening lap of action underway, and well, it is pretty much foot to the floor from the get-go here.
We can also see that the front two have already started to build up a gap on the CPI driver of Thomas Sputa, I believe is how you pronounce that, and the rest is Tony Kessler gets a faster lap with an 18.3, but of course it is only the first lap, so that will be changing. Tony Richaud also moving up a couple of positions, and TS Coleman actually making the move for the lead of the race. We can see a bit of battling behind, including Dennis Langlock, I believe. No, that's not. That's further behind, and that's a retirement in the pits for TGF Yoris. I believe that's wheel problems, especially as he's new to PC as well, so very unfortunate for the TGF team. But Tony Richaud making up one more position, moving up to 4th place. So TF10 doing quite well so far, getting back into getting those positions in the race. So it's TS Korsman in 1st place, followed by Tony Hietala and Thomas Sputa in your podium positions.
Indeed, we are getting the 2nd lap underway, and well, interesting to see. Not much movement yet, but what we have had is just a little bit of a gap opening up between the man in 2nd and 3rd, and then a little bit between the man in 3rd and 4th. But you'll notice that gap is likely to close a little bit. I do apologise if it's a little bit on the laggy side. I'm trying to live stream. I'm trying to stream this to my Cocom at the same time. As I don't have the game on PC, so maybe just a little bit choppy. If it gets too bad, I will turn the quality down just a little bit to make things easier. But Tias Korsman applying some pressure to the man in P1. Streamlag is like nuts. So once things calm down a little bit between the man in first and second, I will try a little bit of something just to try and fix that out a little bit. Don't you worry. But Tiaz Korsman not managing to mount anything right now, so give me 2 seconds. Let me see what I can do to try and fix that quality for you.
Yeah, so far, very, very good race for the FVR man of Tony Kettler and TS Korsman as well, as they've been fighting between the two of them the past couple of laps, and as well see the CPI driver in third trying to get back into the DRS range of the front two, and same with the other FVR driver, Alexi Cavero and Tony Riche, who are trying to get back into the leading positions of this race, but we are still seeing the battles between Tony Kettler and TS Korsman as well, as they are going into this double detection zone here. So TS Korsman will have the upper hand going into the first corner here, especially with how strong the DRS is on this track. FBR Alexi Cavero gets the fastest lap with a 15.646, but TS Korsman looks to the inside and gets the move done going into first position and into turn one as well. Looking further behind, Guti Balance moves ahead of PGF Mr. Pike as well, so that's a TTM 7 and 8. But TS Korsman is leading the way in front of Tony Kettler and Thomas Butzer, followed by Alexi Cavera and Tony Riche, rounding out your top 5 positions. Tim Tornimo also in 6th place. We can see Purple Sector 1 for Gucci Ballon. I don't know if that's actual, if or not. Of course, we have seen the glitches with this game, so I wouldn't take that for gospel, but we can still see the battling between the front two. But Thomas Sputzer is running out of the DRS as it stands. He is 1.4 seconds behind, but it is only lap 4 as well, so we have got another 32 laps to go here, and as well we're going through that DRS detection zone, as I have mentioned before. So Tony Heta will be having the upper hand. We can look further behind at Hugo Font-Bon, who is trying to get moved on ETA. Danny co-fighting for that extra point position, as well as in this event, points go down all the way to 15th, but Tony Hetteler moves to the inside and gets to move down into the first corner.
Indeed, and then also behind Mr. Pike is trying to get a battle here with Tristan for 9th and 10th place respectively, so not looking too bad. And I'm not sure what's going on with Tony Riche. I don't think he's got damage. He's just had a little, with the incident earlier on in the race, did open up that gap a little bit, but you see them all coming through sector 2 here, and everyone really close to one another. In fact, I don't think anyone is out of the second window now from each other now, as we are on lap 5 of 36 here. We've got so long to go left in this race, but the gaps are so close at the moment. And well, noticing that the man in third, Alexi Cavero, is within just under a second from Tiaz Korsman, meaning that FVR have a major strategic advantage now, with two drivers so high up and close to the top of the timesheet, as he might be under a little bit of pressure down this straight as a rear end slide does creep in for the FVR man, but that benefit of DRS is certainly going to be useful for him, as Tiaz Korsman once again up into P1, and the positions change between himself and Tony Huetala once more.
Yeah, TS Korsman does take the lead of the race once again, especially with how powerful the DRS is on this straight. I don't think Tony Chiesolo will really have a fighting chance going into turn 4 here, and the sector 2 split as well. These are very technical corners. We can see CPI Thomas Spoots are also trying to make the move done on Alexi Cavero, but is unsuccessful, as Alexi has decreased that gap quite a substantial amount to now just 0.3 when it was a second and a half a lap ago, I believe. Yeah, now it's a very long DRS drain between basically the entire grids, apart from some of the drivers towards the back of the grid, but it is TS Korsman who will be leading the way going into lap 7, followed by both FVR drivers of Tony Kettler and Alexi Cavero, followed by Thomas Sputzer and Tony Riche in 5th place. But the gaps are so small and tight, I will be expecting these positions to change coming the next one.
Indeed, it'll be interesting to see what FVR Ardu here. Are they about to take a 1 and 2 on the road due to Tias Korsman without DRS benefit? And absolutely looks like that's going to happen here as now Tony Heatlin leads, followed by Comoro there, and Tias Korsman does fall down to third now, as there's quite a few battles happening here on lap 7 of 36, as QT Valiant there in 9th place battles with Bogdan Moldovan, as well as Tristan de Herbecourt here, who has lost DRS to the man ahead of Dennis Langrock here on lap 7, so that could be a sign of things beginning to open up a little bit in this race, as his teammate Jeremy Galliner is in 11th place and struggling himself a little bit in terms of his pace and performance here. And well, lap 7 of 36, I've just realised now after looking in the YouTube chat that I have once again forgotten to show the tyre compounds. Old habits from PlayStation die hard, I suppose, but most of the field on medium tyres, some of the field though on that hard compound tyre. You see Tias Korsman and Thomas Booster battle there round the final couple of bends here, and well, not a bad battle at all, but lost Tias Korsman crucially a couple tenths of a second.
Yeah, indeed. Tony Kessler will be under attack by his teammate as Alexei Cavero takes the provisional lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. We can see a Williams in the background moving to the inside, but not getting the move done on Tim Tornimo. That was Dennis Langrock trying to make the move done, but Bogdan Moldovan, I think is how you pronounce that, moves up to 9th place ahead of Guti Balance. We can see T.S. Corman and Tony Kessler fighting, as well as this Korsman takes the 2nd place. Guti Balance gets a 3-second penalty in the background, as well as we see a little bit of contact between Tias and Tony. Thomas Sputer will also be trying to pick up the scraps from that, but Alexei has built up a fairly nice gap throughout all these battles between Tias, Tony and Thomas, so hopefully he'll try and get out of the DRS range of Tias is probably his plan, but of course with how technical this track is, it will be pretty hard to do so, especially as the DRS detection zone is about to become thick and fast. Tony Richet also trying to make a couple moves, but it's 5 tenths between Alexei Cavero and T.S. Korsman, so I will be expecting T.S. Korsman to try and make a move going into the first corner.
Indeed, really interesting point made by, I think it's Malone in the YouTube chat here, making a good point about how there is surprised there's no one on soft compound tyres, and I'm going to agree with that. Really interesting to see no one on soft compound tyres early doors in this race, but I think those on the hard compound tyres are probably going to swap to the softs later on in this race, as we see yet again another change for those kind of top spots, as Tias Korsman and Tony Richet come quite close together, and that invites Thomas Sputer into the wing here and battle here as they go around the double right hand apex, and Thomas Sputer gets that position versus Tony Richet, who is in 5th place, running where he was just a couple of laps ago, but that battle with Thomas Sputer will not help the tyres in any way, shape or form, as FER have the real ideal strategy here. P1 and P2, they can work together and try and benefit each other as much as possible, as now we head on to lap 10. We're approaching a third of the way through this race, and well, it is looking just as close as it did when they started.
Yes, of course, FBR in 1st and 2nd place, but that will be changing as Tony Kessler takes the lead ahead of his teammate Tony Richet and Thomas Sputer also side by side. Going into the 2nd corner now, Givadar gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I will be assuming he will be retiring possibly, but Thomas Sputer and Tony Richet are battling here, not right now though, as Tony Richet takes 4th place to make it a TF10 3 and 4, as the CPI man of Thomas Sputer gets spat out in 5th place. His teammate Isaac Leets all the way down in 14th place, so he will definitely be trying to make a few moves going into the next lap. Now going back in front, we can see how small the gaps are between everybody, and you can see Dennis Langrock, Tristan de Herbecourt and Tim Tornimo all very close to one another, so maybe a few moves as Tristan and Dennis go side by side going into the stadium section, but it's Dennis Langrock who will be staying ahead as there is a Red Bull into the pits. So Tony Richet will be getting off those medium tyres, as I would assume the pit window is most likely open for those medium tyres. We can see Tristan also go to the inside of Dennis, trying to make that move done, and he does get the move done. As we can see, Alexi and Tony leading the way once again.
Indeed, it is really interesting to see what's going on in this race at the moment as Tony Richet changes tyre compounds into instead of hard compound tyres. We're only 10 laps in as Tias Korsman makes himself up into second place, as you see that battle there between Bogdan Moldovan and Jeremy Gallia here in as we go through sector number 2, and hopefully they don't go side by side through sector 2, because that would be a little bit on the dangerous side. Would not be ideal if they were to do that, but it is looking very good at the moment. But here it is going very, very nicely at the moment here in competitive speed series on lap number 11 of 36 here, and well, it is not too bad at all. We are getting through it very nicely indeed, as a few more drivers off the medium compound tyres into the pit lane here. That means that your Tristan de Heracott will lead the way here as we head, well, not lead the way, but will be your net race leader once Tony Hitler comes into the pit lane on the road. But many drivers into the pit lane does provide the opportunity to gain a few places if you can keep pace on your tyres as well. Prevents a good opportunity for the likes of Tristan de Heracott to gain a lot of time and places under these current conditions. But now over a third distance in this race, and well, a lot's happened in the first 12 laps. No safety car or real dramas to speak of. But certainly, a lot of action and a lot of moves up and down the order. As there's a yellow flag in sector 2, I believe that is Cutie Valiant there, who has a hand incident there coming out of the double apex right-hander there. So he has got himself back up and running. Doesn't cause a safety car or anything to speak of like that, but not looking too bad at all.
Yeah, we've got Tony Kessler, who is in the lead as I say that, goes into the pit lane to get off of those worn out mediums. So it is a ZNT 1-2, as we did see them win last round out in Las Vegas, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so now the hard tyres will definitely be trying to push those tyres as much as they possibly can to make sure that overcut strategy works to the best of their ability. Guti Ballant as well is in the background as Tony Hietala moves out into provisional P4, I think that is, behind Tony Richet, Alexi, Tias and Thomas. So loads of positions lost for boxing a little bit later for Tony, but I think he can definitely make back the times. NT, as I said, 1-2 currently ETA in third and fourth position, but of course they are on the hard tyres and they are still yet to pit.
Indeed, the hard runners indeed yet to pit. Surprised to see no one run a bit longer on the mediums, maybe try something a little bit different, but surprisingly, everyone comes in about a similar sort of time and leaves themselves to their own devices, but I think we won't see that same happen with the hard compound tyres. I think we'll see someone run a little bit longer, go for some of the soft to finish it off. Jeremy makes himself up into the lead at the moment, but yet to pit in this race. And well, everyone down from 10th has pit in this race already, so keep an eye on the gap between Tias Korsman and your current race leader, as Tias Korsman does make his way ahead of Alexi and Tony Richet there, as you can't put a piece of paper between this lot at the moment. They are really, this quadret so close together, you literally cannot separate them at all. And well, it is going to be interesting to see if it stays just as close. Once the hard tyre runners do come into the pit lane in a couple of laps' time, should be they come into that pit lane. And well, at the moment, hard tyres running very, very well, but the pace for those who've pit recently going to be a lot better. So a lot of time likely to find on the other end of this hard compound stint for those who are running their worn compound tyres.
Yes, of course, TS Korsman, as we can see, did get the purple sector 2, but of course, knowing how this game is, might not be factual, so we'll just have to see until he crosses the line to see if he does get fastest lap, but the hard runners still staying out here, and I expect them to stay out for at least another 3 or so laps, but no, it's not fastest lap for TS Korsman, but Alexi Cavero is on the back of TS Korsman. I will be trying to make the move, going for 10th place currently as it stands, but TS Korsman will be trying to get the position back, but unfortunately does not get it back as Tony Richet gets promoted in front of his teammate. As there might be a bit of teamwork going on there, as Tony Richet has got the DRS and will definitely try and make the move onto Alexi Cavero going into the 4th corner. He's got the inside line, which turns into the outside line, going into this double apex corner, still on the outside, but backs out of that corner. Slight little bit of contact between both drivers, but of course, now Tony Richet actually goes to the inside, going into this S section as he gets the move done into 10th place ahead of Alexi Cavero. So them lot fighting might not be the best for their strategies, as Alexi goes for the move once again into 10th place and into the stadium section they go. They've got DRS detection zone once again, which means Tony Richet will be having the DRS on Alexi, so he will definitely be trying to make the move into the first corner.
Indeed, he definitely will be, and well, the gap that this top 4 of Tony Richet, Tiaz Korsman, Thomas Sputer, and Tony Huetler once had has really slimmed now, and you see as they all squabble, it's 4 wide going down the straight here, and on the man on the inside is Thomas Sputer, who's gone from on the road, well, after everyone pits, from 4th to 1st in the span of 1 corner. And look at the way he's gained absolute margins on Tony Richet here as they continue to squabble behind. But now TF10 will hopefully settle into a rhythm with their 2 drivers close together. But if Tomas Sputer can pull himself ahead and gain a margin here versus Tony Richet and get himself out of that 1 second window, it could absolutely do wonders for the CPI man's chances of winning the race. But Tony Richet has been keeping it on the bubble of that 1 second window, but it is not, doesn't seem like it's opened up just ever so slightly too much for Tony Richet, who's now going to have to burn the battery to try and get back within that 1 second. So on lap 17 of 36, as we get to half distance in this race, just under half distance, sorry, Tony Richet has made what could be a decisive blunder as Thomas Sputer now leads by over a second provisionally once everyone pits, but Tiaz Korsman is going to gain a lot of time down the straight with that DRS.
Yeah, very, very good series of moves for Thomas, as we can see. He is gaining lots of time on his competition here, but still we can see the top 9 are still yet to box, as the pit window will definitely be approaching for them within the next few laps. We can see Tony Richet and Tony Huetler, battle of the Tonys, going into this very technical part of the corner. We can see a switchback for Tony Huetler as he wins the battle of the Tonys, funnily enough, for 13th place, but Thomas is decreasing that gap quite a fair bit to Sacha Labussiere, who is a new signing for ABS, if I remember correctly, but we can still see ZNT 1-2 is a very close train between the entirety of the top 6. Mr. Pike in 7th place for PGF. We can see Bogdan Moldovan moving up to 2nd place to break up the ZNT 1-2, but we are currently focused on the train behind. Jivadar gets another 3 seconds of penalties, but Tony Huetler will be under attack from Tony Richet and Tim Tornimo, who will come out ahead of that. Tony Richet moves to the inside of Tony Huetler going into turn 1 and gets that move done and dusted. Tim Tornimo cannot capitalise on that, unfortunately, but there is still one more DRS show. We can see it's 3 wide in front. Here's Tiaz Korsman gets first place here as Girodar retires in the pit lane. So that's Tiers Korsman, who is provisionally first place as it stands, followed by Thomas Sputer and Alexei Cavera, after we could see how quick Thomas has been on those hard tyres.
Indeed, it really is interesting to see how this race is beginning to evolve. And, well, Tony Roche has really, when he's been getting into those battles, going nice and aggressive, playing and so defensively, really has been great to see the level of battle and pace and performance he is able to, and fair racing from him as well. It is such fair racing when you're going against Tony Roche. It is really phenomenal to see, but he is losing himself a lot of time in these battles, and it could really unravel his race. He has fallen from, what was it, 1 point P1 down to, you know, well, losing quite a lot of places, and a lot of what, you know, he would have wanted to have seen, you know, the end result be, as now he goes side by side with Thomas Sputer into turn number 1, does get the place done. And, well, he doesn't have to fight for that position too much, which is certainly going to give him a bit of a better chance now to try and keep close to the back of the man in front of him, which is Aleski Kovaro. Here is Tony Hietala. Now battles with Thomas Sputer as well, and gets the place done as well. Done and dusted. Both Tonys now ahead of Tim Tanemo. No, Thomas Sputer, sorry. And, well, we now are getting, well, we're beyond half distance, and, well, we are getting some of those hard tyre runners into that pit lane, and will be interesting to see what happens from this point onwards as Thomas Sputer very close to the back of Tony Hietala once more.
Yeah, we saw Mr. Pike box pretty early compared to the rest of the drivers, as Bogdan does go into the pits, but according to my reports, he did have damage, unfortunately, so he did box slightly earlier to get a new front wing, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. Jensen Rosen also into the pits, as I'm getting a little bit of technical problems here, so give me a second.
No worries, so here's how we are standing as Tim Tanemo gets himself back up into 10th place here. So we are on lap 20 of 36 here, and well, Jeremy Galania is currently the man leading the way here in the race, and, well, Danny Koo is in 2nd place, but they are yet to pit in the race. But the man that you are looking at on your screen, Thomas Sputer, is in a heated battle here with Aleski Kovaro, who is leading the way here provisionally in this race, but the battling is continuing there as Tony Hietala gets a penalty for corner cutting and loses a whole heap of positions there. I believe he fell from 8th to 12th in one corner, so unfortunately not ideal here for the man who now resides in 12th place here as Daniko comes into the pit lane, and the hard tyres begin to trickle and feed their way into the pit lane, but the pace of those hard tyres for Alexei Kovaro is not looking bad at all, as he now makes it up to 5th place on the road. And, well, now we'll have to do a little bit of looking behind as Tias Korsman down the inside and up into 5th place, and Tony Roche might fancy his chances to get himself up a place down this second DRS straight.
Yeah, very good. Apologies for that. My Discord was playing up, but we can see Tias Korsman is provisionally P1, but currently in 5th place, as we did see a couple of the other drivers go into the pits, including both ET8s and not both NLRs, Jensen Rosen and a couple others like Sacha Labussiere, who is down in 18th. But yeah, Tony Richer and T.S. Korsman really working together here to try and get maximum points for TF10, but they have got Alexei Kovzero, who will definitely be trying to fight them down, and also Tim Tornimo and Thomas Sputzer, as we have seen. The CPI man has had very, very good pace throughout the race as Jeremy Galania goes into the pits off of his hard tyres and boxes on 2 fresh mediums. Quite interested to see where he comes out. It's going to be behind the provisionally leading train currently, as he comes out in 12th, 13th, behind both ET8s, as we can see. Alexei Kovzero still leading here in front of both TF10s here.
Indeed, we are getting bit of these drivers really getting close together now as Tony Kiesler begins to regain some of the pace he lost through that corner cutting incident. If he doesn't get another warning from here, and that warning is found to be, out of the ordinary and not, a typical and justifiable warning, he may get the penalty removed. So just because he's got that 3-second mark next to his name, do not count it. It's definitely 3 seconds being added to his time, so there's plenty of discussions likely to happen in the steward's room after this race, no doubt about that one. But we are here on lap 22 of 36 here, and the hard compound tyre runners have all began to box into the pit lane, and Hugo Fontbon and Tristan de Herbecourt both into the pit lane now, leaving just Isaac Lee, the sole man running the hard compound tyres that have been on since the start of the race. And now he will certainly most likely be thinking about maybe a swap to a soft compound tyre, as Tias Korsman thinks about a swap into P1, into turn 1, gets the place, and his cars behind continuing to battle as well, as there's a bit of contact there between Thomas Sputer and Tim Tanemo that invite Dennis Langrock into the fold here, and Dennis Langrock could get the better of the both of them as he thinks about a dive down the inside, can't make the move on Tim Tanemo. Can he make the move on Thomas Sputer? He absolutely can. He gets the position there into the double right apex, gets the place up into 6th place. Could have got a 2-for-1 deal, had to settle for 1, but nonetheless, great racing for all 3 of them.
Yeah, very, very good. And as you've mentioned, Isaac Leet going very long on those hard compound tyres. They are now 22 laps old, so I will be expecting him to pit either onto the mediums now or softs, possibly later on into the races. And as I've called it, he's into the pits onto lap 24, which promotes T.S. Korsman into the lead of the race, but that might not be for long, as Alexei Cavero and Tony Richer will definitely be hunting down the leading man. As can Alexei Cavero make the move into turn 1? He moves to the inside and gets the move done going to the first corner, so Alexei Cavero takes the lead of the race once again, and both TF10s in 2nd and 3rd, Tim Tornimo in 4th, and Dennis Langrop, who capitalised from the incident between Thomas and I forgot who else, but capitalised and got up to 5th place.
Indeed, it's been great to see what's going on so far in this race. We are over the 2/3 distance now in this race. It's so great to see so many of you joining us here for the race. If you're just joining us, here is your summary. Alexei Cavero leads the way at the moment, followed by Tias Korsman and Tony Richer, who are on for a good result here for TF10, and with a strategic advantage here of being 2nd and 3rd, with Tony Kiesler being handed a 3-second time penalty. They could be taking a real good point swing versus FVR, who lead the championship here, but Tim Tanemo could be a real thorn in the side here as we head on to lap 25 of 36, and the battle resumes once more down the main straight here, and Tias Korsman goes once again ahead of Alexei Cavero and nicely into P1, and Tony Richer could think about trying to take that place back, and may well be able to if the pace off the exit of this corner is not ideal for Alexei. But the pace doesn't look too bad, and Tony Richer not able to make that move, but plenty of opportunity for everything to change in this race, as now the medium compound tyres are also beginning to find their way into this train.
Yeah, you can see Bogdan is gaining time on Thomas Sputer in 7th place, but T.S. Korsman is, of course, in 1st place, as you have mentioned before, but Alexei Cavero will definitely be trying to fight back into that 1st place, of course, without the DRS only. It helps him to get much closer going into stadium section. Tony Richer will also be definitely trying to capitalise on that as well, and so will Tim Tornimo. He will definitely be trying to get back into the podium places, but T.S. Korsman might be a little bit of a sitting duck here against Alexei Cavero, as he will definitely be trying to defend from Alexei, but Alexei moves to the inside, and they're side by side going into turn 1. The move is done. Tony Richet actually moves up ahead as Dennis Langrock and Tim Tornemo side by side going into here, and Tim Tornemo moves up to fourth place, and Alexi in first. Tony Richet also in second place. Tony Hietala also capitalised on a couple of those positions, but we can still see a bit of fighting between him and Dennis Langrock in the background.
Indeed, there's a lot of position changes happening here as Jeremy Galania gets himself up into the DRS range of Tomas Spitzer. So he's doing a good job to try and get a few extra places in this race. Is he able to keep them though towards the end on those more warm medium compound tyres? That is going to be the question here. But lap 26 of 36 here as Alexi Kovaro here is doing a good job here in P1 at the moment, but Tony Richet is certainly going to be thinking about a move into turn number 1, and the pace and exit and launch off this corner will absolutely slingshot you ahead of any car in front of you, providing you're within about 5 or 6 tenths of a second. But look behind at Jeremy Galania, who is likely to make a move here, but holds off on making the move. Oh, he makes the dive. Oh wow, didn't expect that from the man on the medium compound tyres as he gets himself up into 7th place, and a brilliant dive from Jeremy Galania to get himself up into 7th place, and now Danico for ETA gets himself up to 8th place as well. So the medium tyres are live at the moment and providing a lot of pace and performance, but is it going to last to the end of the race? That is really the question here, because they've still got 8 or 9 laps to go here in this race, and well, those tyres are going to be absolutely shot come the end of this race. But at the moment, Jeremy Galania looking electric here as we begin to round off into the final quarter of this race, and well, not looking bad for the man who leads the way at the moment, Tony Richet, as Jeremy Galania thinks about the move on Dennis Langrock into turn 14, but not able to make it work on that occasion. But statement of intent very much there as they head down the straight, and now hopefully Jeremy Galania going to make himself up into 6th place with a low, hopefully what will be a nice move there into turn number 1 as he pulls alongside, pulls ahead and comfortably ahead come turn number 1, up into 6th place, setting his sights now on Tony Hietala.
Yeah, we can see those mediums are really starting to get into that perfect window and getting faster than those hard tyres. But of course, coming into this race, as you have mentioned, those medium tyres will not perform as well as the hards might do. But Jeremy Galania, of course, capitalising on his fresher tyres to get in front of the leading pack. But of course, leading the pack is TS Korsman, followed by Alexi Cavero and Tony Richet, but the gap between TS and Alexi is very, very close. I would expect a move possibly going into this corner, maybe not. But of course, going into the first corner, I'm expecting a move to be done by Alexi Cavero. But of course, Jeremy, Danny, and Bogdan will definitely be trying to make up moves as much as possible, especially going into this next DRS straight and going into the first corner.
Indeed, plenty of moves still likely to happen over the next couple of laps. Do not go anywhere if you're just joining us as Alexi Kovaro once again up into P1 and ahead of TS Korsman. Now, teammate Tony Richet may be looking to make a move on his fellow teammate. Now, one have DRS down the second straight here, providing a good opportunity for the overtake there into turn number 4 here as Tony Richet will not be able to make that move. And well, this is that Jeremy Galania is not quite as close to the back of Tony Hietala as he was a couple of moments ago. Not sure what's happened there. Might have went a little bit wide there. So a little bit of contact between Tim Tornemo and Tony Hietala there as we head through a couple of next couple of corners as well. Not doing too bad in this race. No safety car or anything like that yet. There is always room and scope for things to change. You never know when anything can happen in competitive speed series, but at the moment, Jeremy Galania is looking absolutely brilliant here, and the pace is undoubtedly there. But for how much longer is the question as we now come on to what will be the beginning of lap number 30 here in this race. Alexi leads, followed by Tiaz Korsman, Tony Richet and Tim Tanemo, but will it be that way come turn 1?
Yes, of course, T.S. Korsman will be moving to the inside and gets the move done on Alexi Cavero. Tony Richet also moving up to second place as well. So I will be anticipating a bit of teamwork between the two TF10s to try and possibly get that win away from the FBR and NLR drivers. But of course, as we have seen, Jeremy is moving up those positions quite quickly and is definitely a threat going into these final 6 laps here. But I am still expecting a TF10 to possibly win or an FVR. So make sure to put your predictions in the live chat, of course, if you are watching. And yeah, Tim Tornimo will also be trying to make a few moves as well. And so don't count him out for the lead of this race. But of course, it's the TF10 1-2 as it stands, followed by Alexi Corraro rounding out your top 3.
Indeed, we are really getting towards the latter stages of this race, and well, you see the squabbling there between the drivers, all the way from 7th to 10th, 11th even, really having a good time, kind of squabbling, battling it out, and really putting every bit of performance left on the table there. Well, as we come down towards turn number 1 more. And while Tony Richet, Tiaz Korsman swap places, Alexi gets himself up into second place there, but Hugo Fogbon and Bogdan Moldovan battling there for 9th and 10th, and every point counts, especially, you know, there's no guarantee that any penalties stick or any more penalties get applied, so every second, every 10th counts in competitive speed series, and undoubtedly so it is going to count for Hugo Fontbon and Bogdan Moldovan. Come the checkered flag here with those medium compound tyres beginning to fade as well, likely for Bogdan Moldovan, as well as Danico, who's in 7th place at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see what is going to happen towards the final couple of laps. It's Tiaz Korsman really close to the back of Alexi as we head on to the final couple of laps now, and well, about to begin lap 32, and this is when moves are going to get a little bit more desperate, I think.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we could see Tony Richet, who's currently leading, will probably definitely be under attack from Alexi Cavero, but of course, as we take a look at the championship, this is and will be a very good result for the TF10 team. They are only 29 points behind FVR, so will definitely help them in the championship fight. As Tony Richet, actually, he keeps the lead of the race going into this second DRSJ, but will most likely be overtaken going into turn 4. Now that's T.S. Korsman making a move onto Alexi Cavero, trying not to tag his teammate in the process there, but it's both TF10 side by side, a little bit of teamwork between the two, but it's Tony Richet who's still in the lead, and we could see there's a Haas also side by side with a Ferrari there, but Jeremy and Danny both fighting, but Jeremy keeps the lead of not the lead of the race, the lead in front of the little battle there, but it's still a TF10 1-2, and as you said, Byron, the moves will definitely be getting much more desperate, as we'll definitely be seeing a couple of the drivers trying to get either the extra point or possibly get to the win.
Yeah, and as pointed out in the YouTube chat, Alexi has lost a plate there on his right-hand side, as well as Tomas Spuster and Tony Fietler, who've lost quite a few places here. So they are not having a great time in it at the moment. So a lot of points could be gained by TF10 and not many by FVR as things stand here. As you see, Isaac Lee and Danico battling, battle versus slightly more worn mediums and slightly newer mediums. You'd surely expect the newer mediums of Isaac Lee to win, and they absolutely do, as he sails around the outside there into turn number 3 and towards turn number 4. Now the double right-hander here and comfortably ahead. Isaac Lee of the driver behind ET8 Danny Coe is now through sector 2 they go, but only a few laps left in this race, and well, we said about the moves getting a little bit more desperate. They absolutely did, because now damage to Alexi could definitely hamper his chances of regaining some of these places, although he is very close at the moment to the back of Tony Richet.
Yeah, you can see that he's missing an end play, which of course will hamper his downforce performance going into the technical parts of this corner, but might help him with the straight line speed as he will definitely be trying to make the move on both TF10 drives. Of course, we've only got 3 racing laps left, 2 racing laps after this one, but Alexei might stay behind of Tony, yes, he does. We could. Oh no, it's still side by side going into the second corner, but Alexei does back out with the front wing damage, so it's very hard to stick side by side with front wing damage, especially in that first chicane. But he's trying it again on the outside this time, going into turn forward, stays right behind those. Tony Richet still leads the way, followed by TS Korsman and Alexei Guevara. We could see a yellow flag in the background for Tristan Dribakort after he spun, so that will probably be reported if he got spun by someone at the end of this race. But still looking ahead at Danny Coe, he will definitely be trying to make up a couple of the moves on some of the other medium runners. And as we talk about the medium runners, Isaac Leet and Jeremy Gallinier are fighting a CPI. Isaac Leet in 5th place, so it's been a very good race for CPI so far. Of course, Thomas not having the best of rate stints so far, but still TF10 1-2, but Alexei will definitely be trying to get back in there. Isaac as well, trying to keep a move through into turn 1 ahead of Tim Nemo. He looks to be staying behind. We've got side-by-side action between a Williams and a Haas in the background. Isaac Lee tries to send it onto Tim Nemo, but is unsuccessful and stays behind Bogdan and Dennis Langrock, also fighting out of the exit of the third corner, but as it stands, it's still a TF10 1-2.
It is indeed. It's still a TF10 1-2. We're on to the penultimate lap of action here in, here in Mexico. And, Tony Richet currently leads the field ahead of his teammates Jas Korsman, Alexei in third there, Tim Tonemo in fourth, Isaac Lee in 5th place. And could be looking to try and gain a place or two on this final lap of action. But we are about to begin that very final lap of action here. And as said in the chat, it could be absolute carnage on this final lap. Here is Dennis Langrock, gets himself up into 9th place and ahead of Bogdan Moldavon here. But we now begin the final lap of proceedings here in Mexico. And Tony Richet has got himself a good margin to Jas Korsman. And that might be intentional by TF10 to try and benefit the team and get some more points and try and guarantee keeping these places, as now the moves are going to be a little bit even more desperate than they were before. As Tony Richet maintains the lead into turn number 1, Jas Korsman in 2nd, then Alexei, who's not able to make the move on either of the TF10 men in front of him, but could be having to think behind with Tim Tonemo. As we're on the final lap here, we are getting through that final lap very, very quickly, and no moves thus far for anyone in the top 10, but time for that to change here, as we've got one little straight still to go, and quite a few technical bends. One mistake here could cost you dear on the final lap here, as Isaac Lee will certainly be very close to the back of Tim Tonemo, trying to make the move into 4th place, and that could be a healthy haul of points for CPI. He tries to think about his dive down the inside, not able to make it work, as Tony Richet gets a penalty on the last lap. That's not good for him and his race win, as he gets in the final couple of corners. So Tony Richet will come across the line to be your race winner on track, but due to the penalty he's got, Jas Korsman will win the race, followed by Alexei Kovarov, Tim Tonemo, Jeremy Gallinier, then Danny Coe, then Dennis Langrock. Tony Richet goes from 1st to 7th, then Tomas Spouster, then Isaac Lee, Bogdan Moldavon, and Hugo Fontbon, Tristan de Herbacott, Danny Hietala, and then Mr. Pike there, and then I believe that is Jensen Rowson, who will be 15th there. I believe that DNF is not in vain. But Jas Korsman, P1, but his teammate with a penalty in the dying corners. That is not ideal for TF10, who could have had a 1-2, but may have just lost a heap of points there.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. I'm quite surprised, actually. that actually happened for Tony Ricochet in the final couple of corners. He gets the 3-second penalty, which is quite sad for me, especially as I'm a member of TF10. But still, very good result for the for TS Korsman, who did end up getting the win. Alexi also doing pretty well in the final laps with end plate damage as well. So, Byron, and as I've asked this, you
below, but that has been your race for round 10. I'm just loading my camera back up because I've completely forgotten that I do that. I go back to the cameras, so give me 2 seconds, but we will be giving you all of that race, little debrief, and I'll have a little bit of a chat about how that went for everybody involved. And let's take you to that now. But we have had fairly brilliant 36 laps, and it wasn't a bad 36 laps at all, and was good to see kind of the battles that happened over the course of the race. No real drama or incidents, but just great and close racing the entire way through.
yeah, very very good racing for all drivers involved. Of course, we did see variation in strategy for all drivers there, hard to medium or medium to hards. Both tires worked equally as effective, but the hard to medium, no, was it hard to medium? Medium to hard strategy looked to have worked much better, especially for teams like TF10 and FVR. But very, very good race for the TF10 man of TS Korsman, who ended up getting the win here in the Mystery Grand Prix. So, yeah, very, very good race to watch and very fun race to commentate on. Didn't see that many incidents, but of course, we did see loads of drivers move down. So, I think will be a couple of stewards reports to report on. So, the order might still change going into the final couple of rounds. So, of course, we've only got 2 races left after this one, if I'm not mistaken, or 3. I can't exactly remember, but Byron, what do you think of that race?
I mean, it was a really good race, really strong race, good action up and down the order, really good strategies as well. Strategies, that inverted strategy from the hards to the mediums worked really well. Really potent at the end there, more pace and performance on the hard compound tyres. And just because the tyres weren't going to wear as quickly, less fuel, so worked really well for those who ran that strategy. If they were able to extract the maximum out of it, that's another question. But definitely, that strategy was a really good one, and certainly provided a bit of action, a bit of spice, and as always, a little bit of drama and surprise. It doesn't seem like we're going to be getting any of our top 3 in for an interview on as it seems at the moment, but in terms of our calendar, we have just 2 rounds to go from this point onwards. We've just had the Mystery GP round 10. We've got Hungary and Japan to finish off our season, and that will be on October 25th and November 1st. If you want to catch me, more of myself and Dom, you can find both of us on PlayStation, which will be taking place on Sunday. But interesting to see as well is FVR, who will probably may not be leading the championship after this round, as they've had a bit of a difficult race here. TF10 will be gaining points on them, no doubt about that one, but here's how your championship looked going into the race. But it is definitely going to be looking ever so different coming out of it. But no one of our top three in that waiting room at the moment, waiting for us to have a little bit of a debrief from them. But such an interesting race, and really has been quite interesting to see all of these drivers, and just it's a real different side, right? We're not used to seeing all of these drivers race, but the way in which they raced today is so clinical, so precise, and just brilliant to watch, even though they didn't know what track it was. They get given a surprise, and they still look like absolute robots.
Yeah, very, very good, especially as it was a mystery race, as you have mentioned. So they wouldn't have had any practice going into this race. So, of course, if they would have had practice, we definitely might have seen much better results from certain drivers. But this was really dependent on how much pace you had already into the select track. But, of course, very, very good race. And we could see, especially as we're used to the PlayStation side of things, Byron. It's good to see that TF10 are good on PlayStation and PC, of course, no bias involved in that one. But yeah, FVR in second place and looked to be having a good race until Tony Hietala got involved in an incident, I believe, and I think finished around 13th. So yeah, as you said, losing crucial points in this championship to Team TF10 going into the final two races of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't all perfect for TF10 at all. Obviously, with Tony Richet getting a penalty in the final couple of corners. So I do expect that maybe to go to the steward's room, just in case that was a little bit unfair or anything in that, a little bit untoward. But I mean, what a great race! What great action we've had, and really, yeah, just thank you all very much to everyone who has joined us. A bit of a different one, obviously, with Frost not being available and able to cast tonight. I do believe he will be back for next time out when we head to, I believe it's Hungary for round 11 of the championship. When he should be back for then, but if not, expect to see myself and possibly Dom alongside me for next time out. But until next time, when Competitive Speed Series returns, until then though, bye bye.